Okay, so I'm sick, and I know I probably look as bad as I sound and feel, but oh well, here we are. I kind of promised somebody I'd talk about this today, and so I need to do it. Um, well, this is basically in regards to this whole Justin Bieber thing. Yeah, I know everyone and their grandma has talked about it. It's something I've tried to avoid, but in light of recent events, I kind of feel I need to. See, I've recently kind of gotten into it with some of his little fan brats. Now, this is something that's important to note. Justin Bieber at the Grammys was up for Best New Artist. He lost it. Um, oh, for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the girl he lost it to. I'm very sorry. But you know, he lost. And they're sitting there throwing a fit, screaming about how he got robbed, how he should have won it, how no one's even heard of her, so she should have lost. Which, you know, okay, whatever, you can vent if you want. But then they go and attack her, screaming stuff like, "Who the hell are you? You're an effing retard," blah blah blah, editing this stuff onto her not her Facebook, her Wikipedia page. Um, Putting in insults. One of them being slightly racist in that she has a Spanish name, and so they slip into there that her middle name is Quesadilla. I mean, wow. But anyway, not the point. The point is, you know, how they're reacting to the fact that he lost. Now, were this a public opinion poll, would he have beaten her? I've got no doubt about that. Not necessarily because he deserves to, per se, mostly because, you know, just because he's got name recognition, she don't. Now, I'm just going to go on the record here and say something, though. When it comes to Justin Bieber, I really don't have near the problem with him that some people do. Do I think his music is overrated and frankly not worth the paper it's written on? Kinda, yeah. Does he have some songs that are more tolerable than others? Every once in a while, even sucky people put out something that you can at least listen to without wanting to hurt yourself. But, you know, and yes, there are worse things that girls at that age could be listening to. But I am not thrilled with the fact that he's pretty much been handed fame. He has done absolutely nothing to earn as much fame as he has gotten. Um, he's having everything handed to him, done for him. He's being exploited for the sake of publicity. He's being whored out to everybody by his manager, by his publicists, and yes, sometimes by himself. Um, he's, you know, he's gonna wind up a burned out shell by the time he's an adult. Um, and frankly, once he hits puberty, the voice drops, all this. I really think that half his quote unquote devoted fans are just gonna up and ditch him. I really do. And therein lies the majority of my problem. It's the freaking fans. I mean, there are other bands out there whose music I don't like. There are other people whose music, frankly, I like a lot less due to their content and what they're actually basically pushing at people. But you know what takes you off more than Bieber isn't Bieber; it's his fans. It's how they act. The fact that they act like a little, frankly, a cult. You say you don't like him, and I mean just leave it at I don't like his music. I think he's overrated, and boom, you're an idiot. You're a retard. Your opinion is not valid. They will sit there and systematically pick you apart, find every flaw they can about you, whether it's in your appearance, your voice, your whatever, anything that they can find about you, and boom, they will plaster it all over the place. They make it their goal to humiliate people who don't like what they like. And as a result, seeing as lashing back at them doesn't work because they frankly don't care, they've got no dignity, people then as a result lash out at the object of their worship, also known as Justin Bieber. It's really, frankly, ladies, I think the reason there are so many Bieber haters out there is your fault. I'm sorry, it just genuinely is. That and the fact that the media seeks to, and his manager and his publicist seek to literally force him upon us, whether we want him or not, anywhere and everywhere you look. Anything that has anything on it remotely marketed toward a younger audience, or sometimes even not, Um, he shows up. Anything that's got a show on it that you still like to watch, boom, he shows up. It gets really annoying. And then there's the fact that even though he's plastered everywhere, you can't go anywhere without seeing Justin Bieber these days. He's frankly getting bigger than Twilight, which is its own horror, but anyway. When that happens, people get annoyed, but even then, it's not enough for you. He's everywhere, and you want more. It's like you think the world needs to revolve around him, and anyone who doesn't think so, you go after. This is... It's how they act. I'm honestly going to go on the record and say that a lot less people would have a bad opinion of Justin Bieber, even if they can't stand his music, if it wasn't for his pathetic little fangirls. In fact, they go a step beyond fangirls. They're pretty much a cult. I'm sorry. They are. It's ridiculous. Now, on to another topic of controversy. People keep asking me what I think of Broly, and I've been accused of being a Broly hater who undersells him, and a Broly fanboy who can't accept his limitations. So, I'm going to lay down exactly what I think of him. Yes, 2 quasi-controversial topics in one video. Oh, the joy. What do I really think of Broly? I think he's very strong. I don't think he has anything in regards to a viable personality. I don't think he could exist outside of those movies. So everyone who keeps saying, oh, he should have had his own saga, please shut up. He doesn't have the weight for that. He's got... I mean, seriously, he only lasts... Your attention span on the guy can only be between these movies. I mean, that's his shtick. It's the extent of who he is as Rush Forward and Bash. He's a tank. And not much more. He exists on a, frankly, somewhat ridiculous backstory of somehow being able to remember the name of a baby who was in the pen next to him, who was constantly crying, and hating him just because he was constantly crying. And then somehow can recognize instantly this baby by both his voice, which is not even remotely the same, and the fact that he's a full-grown adult now. Now, in terms of facial recognition, the hair might give it away. You know, that's somewhat understandable, seeing as it doesn't really change its appearance unless altered. But, see, that's another thing. Everyone keeps saying a Saiyan's hair will never change no matter what, blah, blah, blah. I'm relatively certain they can cut it, guys. Just saying. But that's beside the point. I mean, I think they were talking natural, so, there I could give you a little leeway. But when he hears his voice and goes off, or when he hears Goten's voice and goes off, I mean, seriously. It gets ridiculous, It really does. So it's frankly a bit of a ridiculous backstory. He's got one means of combat, which is basically shove your way through everyone who gets in your way. Now, here's what I love. In regards to this, people keep trying to compare him to Majin Buu. Well, Buu didn't have much of a personality. Buu had a brain. He's got a lot more personality than you give him credit for. And here's why. The guy outsmarted friggin' Gohan and everyone else. He used strategy when his brute force wasn't enough. He didn't just keep charging right back in. And the fact of the matter is, he was a demon. And his purpose, was to be a weapon. Now, this is what I mean when I say they argue the same thing about Broly. Not really. Broly's a very one-dimensional character. I'm not gonna lie, he is. But he was good for that movie. It made for a very entertaining movie. Because, the movies are pretty much entirely about the action. So, it very much delivers there. He's a very good movie villain, but I don't think he can exist outside of that. Now, when it comes to his strength, people keep saying that he's either so strong that he was stronger than Cell, or that he's weaker than that, and that's all the stronger he can get, blah, blah, blah. And both sides use this as an opportunity to try to say that a Super Saiyan 3 Broly could in fact exist. And I'm going to get to that in a second, but here's the deal. Do I think Broly's power level is set? No, I do not. I do think it rises over time. However, do I think that it rises to the point where, oh my gosh, if I don't meet him within 10 seconds, he's going to go to from being my equal to being able to pound the living crap out of me with one arm tied behind his back like some people do? No. It is a gradual increase. And to be fair, we can't really say how much of an increase it was. He did say his power was rising. There was evidence of that. However, I'm really not so sure that it was a very rapid rise. And, I mean, when you think about it, he was already beating the living tar out of them, no problem. You know, before he got this supposed power rise. And Goku taking all the power of everyone else and putting it into one shot was enough to seriously injure him. Now, I'm not going to go the route that other people are going to and say that therefore proves that they were all stronger, that he's not as strong as people. No, because think about it. It took every single ounce of strength they had, and no, guys, ki is not necessarily equivalent to health. I'm sorry. There are different forms of it. And considering the fact that they all got the tar beat out of them before they even got a chance to use much of it, they'd still have quite a bit left. But, I mean, seriously, it's literally focused all into one small point. Now, if they were all to form one giant beam, which they then focused into one tiny little point the size of a fist, and boom, hit him with it, then yeah, they might have stood a chance. But taking them on 2 at a time, 3 at a time, like that, not going to work. You know, that much was proven. So again, it was all this force put into one relatively small point of impact that finally did it. And even then, it wasn't enough to friggin' kill him. He came back. And I'm not even going to get into movie 2 because I'm going to run out of time before I can. I'll briefly touch on it. Contrary to popular belief, Broly was not killed by a single Kamehameha from 3 Super Saiyans. First and foremost, Goku at the time where this is supposed to be taking place in the timeline, although he didn't take the form, he would have had access to the Super Saiyan 3 form, which means his base is one heck of a lot stronger than it was when he first fought Broly. So even just a normal Super Saiyan form would be a lot stronger than it was the first time he fought him. And I mean a lot. Second of all, you actually watch the Kamehameha get pushed back. It's not until Broly's ability to feed energy into his blast is interrupted and you actually see the thing shrink down a little bit that they managed to blow through it. And when it comes to how he finally died, you watch him put up a barrier. It carries his barrier right to the sun. You see a flash. You see him being pummeled through it. You watch his heart explode. Then the barrier goes down. He disintegrates. And you see it go boom out the other side of the sun. And why do I say out the other side? Because people keep trying to say that he came down and impacted it and it was an impact flash. No. Look at how the camera is moving. The camera motion is a clear indication of his momentum. And it's coming from the inner part of the sun outward. So yeah, it was very difficult to finally kill him. However, do I think that he was stronger than Cell? Definitely not in the first movie, no. Second movie, quite possibly, in fact, probably, considering the fact that he did have longer to fight, and second of all, the fact that he was seriously injured, and we all know what kind of a power boost Saiyans get from that. You can't just discount that. So, alright, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to make the Super Saiyan 3 Broly thing another video, but I'm definitely going to talk about that too. But anyway, there's my thoughts on 2 very controversial topics. What the friggin' do, I'm really not seeing why people sweat them so much. Anyways, later.